pretty good. It was a lot of fun. and blocks of some kind we thought we would see. We didn't see any of those. And I feel like that was a disappointment. That's a bit of a letdown. Like I would have assumed that somebody would have been there.
Yeah, I agree. I think I just fixed the problem. Keep talking, but
and then we did see a ton of. Ooh, that's a lot. That's loud. Can you touch the end of that? We saw a ton of hot tubs. There was no less than 100 hot tubs there.
okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, I think I've solved this. Hopefully we can get on this.
There! Exclamation mark.
Son of a gun. There it was sitting right in front of me all along.
As it is.
You know, if we didn't treat this thing with such an emphasis on being live and not editable, I would start it over. But, okay, so now the distractions are gone. Deck Expo, lots of hot tubs.
That's all there is.
You were saying, yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, I just assumed there would be more stuff for us to look at. I thought there'd be more, like, patio furniture and more, like, fire tables and, you know, accessories that you would put on your patio.
Sure.
But there just wasn't. It was like a hot tub show.
Yeah, I would say I was also equally disappointed that there wasn't more backyard accessory type things. It was like, and the show is fine. If you sell hot tubs, you should be there.
Yeah.
Unless you don't care about other brands and you've already got yours figured out, then you do you, boo. But for sure, we thought there might be a little bit more that might be relevant to us, and I would say we were disappointed.
Underwhelmed.
Yeah. So
I was surprised there wasn't a. I'm surprised like Tico Block wasn't there, or Barkman, or.
Yeah, I for sure thought at least the patio store guys would be there, which, again, they were not. But
yeah,
so it is what it is. We spent most of our time in those 3 rows that were Deck Expo. Was it great? Yeah, it was great to be back there finally. We didn't go last year. From what I heard, the show last year was quite
slow.
Not as busy as it should have been.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Could have been.
Wasn't well attended.
You know? Yeah, and so good to be back. First time we've been back in 3 years. We spent a ton of time in those 3 rows and still didn't really get on to look at everything and talk everything because we just spent so much time talking to people and standing in the aisles and schmoozing and whatever else. So that was good.
But that's almost like 90% of why we go.
Yeah, that's a good chunk of the reason. Yeah,
I don't go there to think like we're gonna uncover some amazing product that we haven't heard of. If there's an amazing product, we usually hear about it.
After not being there for 3 years, there was certainly the chance for that to happen, and I would say that in a way, there's a couple things for sure.
Yep.
Like I really, really wanted to see the Wear Deck framing in person, the structural composite framing that they had out there, and they made it easy for us because they brought us in to do podcasts from the booth, so we had a chance to play with it and talk about it and everything else. So that was certainly an interesting product. Everything looks great about it, so we'll see where it goes.
Yeah,
we'll see.
They're working on making it a little bit stronger, which I think is good. That's like,
yeah, just kind of being able to kind of like put their foot down on the spans a little bit and be more confident in what they're saying they can span.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the only thing where it's like you just expect, and I think probably because steel has done it, but you expect alternative framing methods to wood to be able to span greater than wood because that's what we've been told is one of the major benefits of going to alternative framing is increasing spans.
Right. I think the reason they have to increase their spans is they have to do that to get to wood. It currently doesn't span as far as wood.
The Wear Deck you're talking?
Correct.
Yeah, well, I think they said that it can. However, they're being conservative with their
super spongy and
they don't want it to be a bad customer feel or experience. So they're being super conservative with their span numbers right now. So it'd be nice to see that certainly increase because that's an expectation that unfortunately is there. But everything aside from that, like the usability and the look of it and everything else is really, really good.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Camo was there with their new structural fasteners.
Yes.
So not super, super new. They've talked about them prior to the show, but at least if you hadn't seen them before, you had a chance to see them while you were there. Of course, Fortress Evolution was there with their steel framing products. Again, it's been out for a bit, but still new to some people.
It's always good to see those.
Nice display there. The one other cool thing that we saw, like I'm sure there's a few that I'm not even thinking about right now, but, and oh boy, it's escaped me who had it there. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh, the company.
The cable rail system. Somebody in the chat will remind me. But, and I don't even know how to explain it because I didn't watch the live demo of it, but somebody showed us a video of it essentially. And we'd walked by and just didn't pay much attention. But it's cable rail panels that are pre-run or like threaded through the whatever, and you tighten them all with like a nut or something in the top rail. And as you tighten the nut, it tightens all the cables throughout the whole panel, and like you don't have to worry about running your cables through the holes. It's pretty wild.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, so I'll have to look that up. I saw a post about it on Instagram recently too, and it reminded me of it. So that looked interesting. We should have spent some more time looking at that.
Yep.
I don't know that there was much else that I saw that was new.
So is it millboard?
Right. Millboard. Yeah. So millboard's been out for a long time. It's the dominant composite board. God, I've become really comfortable with saying it composite.
Back and forth. Hey, you can interchange that.
Yeah, I'm pretty ambidextrous with that word now.
Mm-hmm.
So with the composite board, it's been like it's a UK board, so it's the number one board in the UK and even like Australia and I think other European markets, but it just hasn't made its way over to America until recently. And so now it's here. There's a distributor. I think they're in like Minneapolis or Minnesota somewhere, or Wisconsin or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's a rubber capped board, I guess you'd say, with I believe it's like a limestone fiberglassy type core to it.
Yeah.
And so it's got a lot of benefits with like thermal stability. The texturing and embossing is actually like whatever you want to call it. Like
it's pretty cool.
It's like, what do you want? How do you want?
I'd call it hand scraped.
No, but like they basically take the actual embossing of a real oak board. They like map it, whatever. There's a word I'm looking for. I can't place right now.
We'll get it.
So the board, it's not like it's like
embossed.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, that's a neat embossing. It's like, no, that's actually like you're looking at what a real piece of oak actually looks like because that was taken from a real piece of oak.
Right.
So super realistic look to it.
Yes.
And then the most intriguing or social media post worthy feature of it is that rubber cap self heals in a way. The fastener, at least, right? If you cut a chunk, whatever, it's not going to.
Yeah.
But you drive a screw through it and just like countersink the screw, and when you pull your bit out, the rubber cap just goes, and it's gonzo. Like,
so super good for install, probably not so good for removing.
Which is what everybody commented when we posted that video. Was like, good luck removing it. And my question is, be like, why? If you shouldn't build a deck to be removable. Yeah. Like it should be built to last, and you shouldn't have to remove it until it is so far gone that you're not trying to save it anymore. You're just like, take a Sawzall and cut it out of there.
The one thing that I didn't love about it was they were not willing to talk about fade and stain warranty.
Yeah, and that I believe is because there isn't one. So when we asked questions about the fade and stain warranty, the immediate answer was to...
well, what doesn't fade?
Yeah, the immediate answer was to attack the fade and stain warranties of competing products. And so
there was no...
You didn't answer what your product does, so clearly they don't have one.
Yeah.
That said, I don't know if it's a major issue or not. So I don't know. There's certainly some guys out there that could tell us because they've used millboard for a long time, but us on this side of the pond in the Americas are not as familiar with it. So yeah, I guess fill us in. Comment below. Let us know. Is it even an issue? Like, I don't know. And the fact that it's got like that softer rubbery cap leads me to believe that it probably doesn't scratch super easy because it's forgiving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you drag a nail across a tire, it's like it's got some flex. It doesn't cut like something that's more brittle does.
Yeah.
And leads me to believe that it's probably got decent traction on it too. It's always hard to tell at shows because everything at a show has perfect traction.
Yes.
Because your shoes are clean. You've been walking on carpet all day. The deck is super clean. They probably use some sort of like cleaner on it and it's tacky.
It's like a sticky cleaner though.
Yeah. Like a pine tar smeared all over it. Yeah. So it's potentially not like, I don't know. It seems like it would, but who knows? I don't know. Anything else that sticks out for you?
That starboard drill.
The Muro.
The Muro was pretty cool.
So that started to make some noise before the show, but it was there. So that was good. Yeah. Have a look at that. It's just a collated, a gun with collated, like
color match
screws for composite, essentially, that you can countersink, get ready for your plug systems, which is really good. And probably just what wraps it up for the exciting things. There's more things there, obviously, that were existing that everybody knows about.
What wasn't there is Fibron wasn't there and Trex wasn't there in a booth.
Yeah. Yeah.
TimberTech was.
TimberTech was there.
It looked like they just kind of decided last minute to be there.
Decorators was there.
Yeah.
Fortress was there.
Yeah.
For decking. Millboard was there. Moisture Shield was there.
Moisture Shield,
But not Moisture Shield, like a distributor of Moisture Shield was there with Moisture Shield product.
Yeah. And I guess there was a Barkman logo there, so there may have been some tiles in that.
Yeah, a little bit of stuff there too. So, anyway, so that was Deck Expo. We met up with a lot of people we hadn't seen in a long time, which was really great. And we were there for a while. It felt like a long time that we were there.
It was
good
long.
to get home.
Yeah, it was a long one.
Then we came back home and ended up at Grey Cup for a couple days. And so for our American friends who don't know what Grey Cup is, think Super Bowl. It's just the championship game of the CFL, Canadian Football League.
Yeah.
And so it's a big deal up here. It's a whole week of festivities. It's not just football on Sunday. It is like, it's very fan focused. It's very fan friendly. It's not super corporate. Like, it is corporate, but it's not only corporate.
Yeah.
They are very welcoming to fans too. They put on a huge party the whole week.
Yeah.
And so we missed most of it, but we got back in time to enjoy the festivities for one night. But tons of party rooms, tons of bands, tons of like outdoor activities, everything going on throughout the week. There's thousands of people that come down for it, and it's just a big shindig for a week.
Yep.
So we got up to the team rooms one night, which is kind of like, we've got this complex here in Regina that's 7 or 8 sheets of ice in one building, the Cooperative Center, plus a soccer complex and whatever else.
Yep.
And they basically, like, they shut those down, they empty them out, and they set up team rooms in there. So every team or like division would have its own giant rink full of party atmosphere, and they decorate their team colors, and the cheerleaders there, and the bands, and the bar, and like it's just a wicked party in every room. And so you just go in, and you can go from one room to the next, and without ever having to go outside because it was a little bit chilly.
Yep.
And great time. So we did that for the night, and then the next day was the game. Unfortunately, our Saskatchewan Roughriders were not anywhere near the game.
No. No.
Like, didn't even really
Try.
make an effort to be there.
Yeah.
But the Toronto Argonauts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers were. And it was a perfect Cinderella story. Toronto Argonauts were there, were the clear underdog.
Clear underdog.
Winnipeg was there, was clearly the class of the league, is clearly the best team, and has been since pre-COVID. Like,
for a while.
They've won, they're on it. This would have been 3 in a row championships for them, which is like, hasn't happened for a long, long time.
Yeah.
And they're our natural rival. So Saskatchewan Roughrider fans generally will not cheer for Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and still will not. And so we cheered on the Toronto Argonauts to a victory.
Well, we had to try because
Grey Cup.
Regina's relatively close to Winnipeg. And so the Bomber fans showed up. Like, it was a Bomber home game.
Oh, yeah. But most of the Rider fans were cheering for Argos. So as far as the noise in the stadium.
Yeah, we were trying to get it back a bit for them.
Yeah. As far as the noise in the stadium, it sounded pretty equal. But that's because the Bomber fans that were there was actually like 10,000 Bomber fans there.
Yeah.
And it was just the other 28 or 18,000, whatever it was.
My favorite sign
fans.
My favorite sign I saw at the game was one. It was like I don't know who it was holding it up, but it was like anybody but the Bombers.
Yeah,
was their sign. Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's how a lot of people were feeling about that whole situation.
So
there was
the camera angle wrong in this.
There was that.
Showing the side camera.
Yes, I do. Here we go. How's that? Can you tell we've been off this for a while? Like, it should have been fixed now.
It's like we played hockey last night. My team played hockey last night.
Yeah.
We were awful.
Oh, yeah.
Like awful. Nobody made a single pass. It was obvious we had not played hockey for a month.
So you've been off hockey for a month because of Grey Cup and Agribition.
Yeah.
Shut all those rinks down.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and I play on Sunday, and I'm expecting much the same.
Oh, boy. The 20-year-olds that we played against, they did not have
that's
much
the
trouble
worst,
getting
too.
back into the rhythm.
No.
But
they probably never stopped. They just found ice time elsewhere.
maybe.
So then it was on to the contractor events. We had a couple great events with Fortress. They came in and kind of did a bit of an appreciation event. Invited some contractors out, just casual, kind of games room / playing pool / if you have questions about Fortress framing or
It was
whatever, have at her. But
soft sell technique.
Yeah.
I really like that strategy.
I think it was great.
Yeah.
You were not forced to sit and listen to a presentation. You were not forced to like consume something you didn't want to. It was just like, come have some drinks and some food, and if you have some questions, like we absolutely can have a conversation about it.
And
but
it
no
turns
pressure.
out they all had questions.
Right.
And they ended up getting to the reps, Corey and Jason,
Yeah.
ended up chatting with the contractors that were serious about it. And yeah, I think it was really good for everybody.
It was really good. So that happened for 2 days, and then it was kind of get ready for Agribition. Now, Agribition, you and I always work at the shows because we actually kind of just enjoy, or at least I do. I think you do as well.
Yeah.
We just enjoy being at the shows and like talking to people, and like it's just a change of scenery for us, really. Maybe not there this time. Maybe it was like more of the same crowds and whatever that we could have needed a break. But regardless, we did the show and it was great. I ate, I don't know, no less than 4 brisket sandwiches during the week. And
What was
some
your favorite
pizza,
food?
the brisket sandwich, and the ribs.
Mine was the chili, that brisket chili.
The brisket chili. So basically anything that came from Prairie Smoke, yeah,
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
was amazing. The brisket chili, the brisket on a bun, the smoked ribs, everything was fantastic.
Pocket dog was underwhelming.
Yeah. Spent a lot of money too. Not as much as Vegas food, but it was pricey.
Agribition was good. Bunch of new customers, new clientele, people through there, just some awareness.
And then we took my kids and my wife's family to the rodeo. So they have a rodeo like 4 nights in a row, and the first night is a free night. So
Wednesday.
you get the whatever it is, a professional bull riders association, a professional rodeo association, whatever it is, puts on it's like a sanctioned rodeo championship, whatever. And so the free night is that Wednesday. So we all went. It was packed in there, like absolutely packed. And I had my 3-year-old and my 5-year-old there, and they had no idea what a rodeo was. And nor did we really try too hard to explain it to them. It's like, you're going to see it in a minute. Just don't worry about it. And then as it happened, I realized how freaking crazy this would be to see for the first time. Because I was sitting behind, it was in the arena. I was sitting in the row behind my sons, and so I could see them kind of sitting there, and you don't see much before the horse. The first thing up is the whatever you call it, the bronc riding.
Okay.
Horse riding.
Yeah, bronc.
And so when they're in the stalls, you don't really see much. You see the cowboy sitting on top, but you can't really see much of a horse or whatever, and you don't know what's about to happen.
Yeah.
And then the door opens.
Yeah.
And holy hell, if you've never seen this before, I've seen it a lot. So for me, it's I knew exactly what's happening. But these little 5-year-old and 3-year-olds must have been just shitting themselves.
Yeah.
Wow! What's going on? Why is he doing that? Why is the horse doing that? Leave the horse alone. Yeah. They weren't concerned with the horse. They just thought it was great.
Yeah.
But how crazy would it be to see that? A horse jumps out and is just kicking 10 feet in the air, and the cowboy's riding. He's just getting the snot beat out of his brain and flying around, and it's that is action packed. Yeah, and then get fucked off 10, 15 feet in the air, and then or not, and then you got these other 2 horses that come riding upside, and he jumps from horse to horse, and it's what the hell is going on? It's such a crazy thing. So anyways, that
should have followed that
pretty
up
wild.
With taking the boys out to then go ride horses at a stable somewhere. But boys, let's go.
Good luck. So yeah, pretty wild experience for them, I'd have to think. I left with my one son. He was getting late a little bit early, but the 5-year-old wanted to see the bull riding, so I didn't get to see his response to that. But that's even crazier. It's how about let's okay, that was cool.
That was pretty cool.
How about we ditch the saddle, put a helmet on you, because this is really going to smash your brain around.
Yep.
And then a bigger animal that's angrier.
So the helmet thing, when we were growing up, guys never wore helmets.
Oh
right?
yeah, there's a lot of helmets now. Yeah.
Yeah. That's because of that bull. The bull's name was Bodacious. Did you ever watch a documentary on this?
No.
So I believe there's a 30 for 30 on it, and the bull's name is Bodacious, and he learned how to get rid of cowboys.
Okay.
And so he would dive forward and then throw his head back.
Yeah, I remember this now. Yeah.
And so they'd be riding and they would land, and gravity would pull them forward, force would pull them forward.
Yeah.
And then he would throw his head back and just obliterate them.
Yeah.
Nobody could ride that bull. And they ended up taking it out of the circuit because he was
literally going to kill people.
Yeah. I don't think he did kill anyone, but that was his intent.
It was well on his way.
Yeah. And so they were like, well, he's unrideable now because he's learned how to do this. Lots of them will come out and spin.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's the fun part. When they start to dive and go back and forth like the broncs do, then it's dangerous.
Yeah. So pretty crazy turn of events in that, from sitting down, grabbing some popcorn, and then the action starts. And it's fun night out to somebody's gonna die. So pretty cool.
So then, now that's done. We get into the office, and you get slammed with bookings. It is now time for you to purchase material.
Yeah. And so I don't remember
How
what
did that
happened.
go?
I don't remember what happened Monday. Monday was my intent is like, I'm going to go into my office and I'm just going to close the door and I don't want to talk to anybody. And I was like, I got here and I was like, we have a meeting at 10.
Yeah.
Come on. And then the afternoon, I can't remember. Something happened too. Like I was at my computer for like an hour that day.
Yeah,
so right off. Yeah. And then Tuesday. So anyways, that's what I've been preoccupied with. I saw while we were away the emails coming in. Bloom, booking for whatever.
Good thing.
Flyron, whatever it is. And I'm like, yeah. If they're smart, they'll give me some time. They don't want this back tomorrow. That'd be crazy. But yeah, some of them were due while we were away. Some of them were due like right when we got back. And so now I'm playing catch up trying to get those things done. And it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to analyze your data and figure out what you're going to purchase for next year. And like we've had some systems issues that have been playing with the reliability of our data. And so that plays into things. And then seeing what the offers are out there and potentially negotiating some things and communicating back and forth. And do you want to make any product changes going into next year? And like it all happens right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do we have a direction on this podcast? We loosely talked about maybe the idea that
so far,
no, right? It's like
so far it's been pretty.
might be the
We're just
worst.
talking about where we've been for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. It's
Chronologically, we're getting there.
we have one viewer. I believe that's me.
Good. Well, that's fine.
So I think that what we were talking about is if you're a contractor, this is maybe your time. This is now maybe your opportunity to talk to your suppliers and let them know, voice your opinion about if you want something changed, if you want to add a product into the lineup, or if you want to, have them consider bringing something in for you.
Yeah.
This is the time to do that because it's when they will purchase the best. Right? They probably, like as a supplier, you have a better opportunity right now to put a new product in because you'll get some support and you'll have some time to actually do it as well. Right?
Yeah.
So I think that was sort of some of the value we had talked about for this podcast was like, well, just contractors, go to your lumber yards if there's something.
Yeah, because it's not much is going to change during the season because the kind of the terms for the year have been set. It's like the negotiating and then whatever else happens now. It's like, this is what you're going to buy it for the year. And this is when, like, all the details are ironed out for the coming season. And then it just gets too busy to want to be changing things at that point. Now it's just like placing and taking orders all year and like whatever. So now's the time to make those changes. So now's the time too. And so it's a good time for Deck Expo to go down and see new products because if there's something new you want to bring in, now's the time to look at it, figure out the details so it could be here in the spring. Yeah. And if there's lines you're looking to get out of, it's like, you're going to figure that out now because you're not going to book those.
Correct.
So, and if there's issues you're having with certain vendors and you're not jiving for whatever reason, now's the time when it's pretty easy to be like, let's figure this out, or no thanks,
or just
like
nothing.
So there's been a couple of those that's been like some emails sent back and forth. It's like this relationship is not working for us. And we need it to work for us.
It's not me,
it needs to be mutually beneficial. And if it's not, then it doesn't make sense for us. So I don't know if there'll be changes this year, but there could be some big ones.
Could be a few changes.
Yeah. So can't really get into details of those, especially not yet. But that's what we're like. Those bookings are due anywhere between like 2 weeks ago and January 31st. So that time period of like November to January is a very busy time with booking material and getting all that stuff ready. Plus, then you have time off at Christmas. It's your year end. So you're probably running through an inventory there at some point. You're probably going to want to do some year end staff meetings with your own staff to kind of like wind things up and prep for next year and everything else. So it's people are like, what do you do in the winter? It's like, I've not been felt more behind than right now. Like this is a very, very busy time.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, nobody builds deck in the winter. It's like, you probably got still, I don't know what you have, but you
got
got
3
numerous projects that are still like happening right now to look over. And some contractors are still coming in and doing stuff and whatever. Like there's still people coming through the store. Not a ton, obviously, but we're busy with office work. So we'll get the social media stuff going again here. It's just taking me a little bit of time to catch up before it feels like a priority again.
What do we got coming up? We got Christmas coming up right away.
Yeah, well, we have some next week. We have our quarterly meeting with our leadership team. We have our staff party that night.
Yeah,
Christmas party. We're doing it with both stores together. Then we have a contractor Christmas party on the Friday in Regina.
Yes,
The Saskatoon one, I believe we're going to wait until after the New Year to do.
that's the plan. Yep.
And then we're open until the 22nd-ish, I think, and then we shut down for Christmas. We always do this, and I don't regret it.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
It's slow anyway. Most of the contractors are also taking that same time off, that stretch between Christmas and New Year's. So there's no point in making our staff spend time away from their families to sit around here and answer the phone once if it maybe
It's
rings.
not going to do anything. Yeah.
So you might as well just give people the time off to go recharge their batteries, come back, start fresh in the new year, and get after it. So we're closed from December 22nd we're open. That's the last day we're open.
It's a Thursday.
And we come back on January 3rd, I think. So it's like
Tuesday.
a week and a half, just shy of 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That we'll have off. So that'll be good for everybody. I'll get a lot of bookings out of that time, and it won't be distractions.
Yeah.
It's like, that'll be good. Time
Except
to catch
like
up for
your
you and
family.
I.
Except your family. They
Right.
might distract you.
But that's okay. There'll be time for them too. But it's just like a time for, like, I don't expect our staff to work all that time, but you and I will probably like catch up a little bit or whatever. Or
Yeah.
I certainly intend to. So that'll be good. And get out of town, not to Vegas and not to a show and not to crowds, whatever, and just
Go ice fishing.
spend some time with family too. I don't think I'll make it ice fishing, but
Do you want to try?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll go in between Christmas and New Year
it sounds good.
for a day.
So then I'll go ice fishing too then.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I've got family functions happening tonight and family over, and I was supposed to be home an hour ago. So I think we've probably,
Time to go.
there was the timeline up until what we're doing today. So there you have it.
Episode
There's
200.
not-
So different than 100.
So that's the other thing too. I really feel like these episode things have kind of like, they've lost their, like we've actually posted like 215 episodes or 220 episodes now.
Yeah.
We just don't give episode numbers to episodes that were sponsored or the tens episodes. We don't. I'm kind of
Did
feel
you-
like maybe we just need to get away from this.
Speaking of tens, did you get anybody to throw anything back at you yet?
No, and so that's another thing. Thanks for the reminder that I wanted to touch on
And there
today.
was a few guys that were like, yeah, we'll get that done.
Yeah. So the tens episodes, if you haven't listened to one yet, is it's called tens because it should be in 10 minutes or less, and it's not with us. It's just open mic for a industry person, contractor, a vendor, whatever, to talk about whatever topic they want in 10 minutes or less. And we just intro it and then let them speak on whatever that topic is. The plan was kind of posted every Thursday. However, I'm finding that maybe just because of the time of year, it's very difficult to keep that filled up with those episodes coming in as frequently as we need them to. So I think maybe it's just going to be like when somebody sends one in, we'll edit it up and get it posted. It may not be on the schedule. But if you want to contribute, my only request is if you're a vendor, don't come on there and use it as an advertising platform. That's not its intent. I don't want to learn about all your products and why everybody should buy them.
Right.
But if you have a story about how you got into the industry or
Western would have a good story.
different things like that, then
It's a family-run lumberyard.
more than open. Yeah, that's what we want to hear is like the origin stories or like tips and tricks you did in your business or like guidance for other people. Like it should be kind of like those little bit of deeper conversations.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in doing it, go to www.tuds.ca/tens. So TUDS.ca/TENS. And there's a little bit of instructions there on how to record. You can do it right on your phone. Just click a button, record your episode, and then email it. And it goes to me, and I throw it up. So if you want to do that, do that.
Okay.
Aside from that, that's it for me. Wade, what about you?
Yep, that's it.
That's it? Okay.
Everything.
Well, we'll be back on our weekly schedule now. So
Yeah.
sorry for the hiatus. We
We'll put
needed
some
it.
effort into next week
Yeah.
as well.
We just needed that little bit of a break. It's been really busy. So we'll see you next week.